I remember sometimes in 2021, 22, we were advocating for estates in Abuja again, and just across Nigeria, in fact, to get into recycling. And I remember one of the leaders of one particular estate that I went to myself telling me that he as a leading person, I don't want to mention the actual organization, but he as a leading person in a government agency cannot be sorting his waste. Because the machine is built in Nigeria, because it's the first in Nigeria, right? When we go to, let's say we come to you and say, oh, so we built this machine and we want to install it in your facility. There is this mental block already that's like, are you sure this thing even works? So we tend to spend a number of days and weeks trying to convince the people, that the facility managers, that this machine actually works the way we said it would work. My name is Rita Idehai, and I'm the founder and CEO of Ecobarter, which is a waste recycling company in Nigeria. I've been in the waste management recycling space since 2017, when I came to Abuja for NYSC, and then I saw that local community women in my estate, cleaners in my estate, were gathering plastics, and then if you just go out, you will see waste materials on the drainage. So it was knowing about the problem that brought me into the space. But I think for the ATM itself, I remember sometimes in 2021, 22, we were advocating for estates in Abuja again, and just across Nigeria, in fact, to get into recycling. And I remember one of the leaders of one particular estate that I went to myself telling me that he as a leading person, I don't want to mention the actual organization, but he as a leading person in a government agency cannot be sorting his waste. So that, I literally almost cried that day. So that particular, approach, knowing that the people that were trying to get to recycle saw recycling as some sort of low-level activity that only cleaners should get involved in, was what brought the motivation to build something that would make recycling engaging for anybody, irrespective of your class, right? And that was when I began to research what could be done, and I saw, that this type of machine, ATMs for plastics and can, was available in Europe, and I thought to myself, so why not in Nigeria? So it was knowing the waste problem, and then the challenge that was posed to me by somebody within, the country that said, people of certain status should not recycle. And literally, that was just what we wanted to debunk. That recycling is for everybody. It can be engaging, it can be done in a neat format, and that's why we brought in the machine. Journey starts from even before you go to the machine, right? It starts from your houses, your offices. When you consume, say, your plastic bottles or your beverage can, you sort them out. So you have a bag somewhere where you keep plastic bottles and can, and then you go to the machine. So when you go to the machine, there is a screen, there is a hole, and then there is an outlet for printer. So you go to the machine on the screen, you would see start. So we have it in English, in Yoruba, in Igbo, in Hausa, in the major languages spoken in Nigeria. So you tap on the button start, right, in your preferred language. Then you would see the intake hole sort of come up, prepare itself. From there, you can insert your bottles one after another. It has to be empty, because if it has water, the system will tell you this bottle is overweight. Kindly, reject, or kindly pick it up, empty the water and reinsert. So you put in your bottles, put in your beverage can, and on the screen you would see the weights keep adding up. So once you're done, you go back to the screen, you tap on, there is a button complete, you tap on complete, and then it generates a QR code for you. So you can bring out your phone to scan the QR code. It would take you to the Ecobarter app, where you would then see, so you've recycled, for example, 50 bottles, which is 1 kg, and then you have 100 naira. Or if you're in Lagos, for example, it would say, oh, you have 180 naira. So it would literally show you that, and you can claim your points. So, and if you do not have a smartphone, you can still then go for that to print a receipt. And then when you get home, or when you get to somebody that has a smartphone, they can help you to scan, and that's how it works. After you've recycled, as many times as you want, you've gotten 100 naira, 200 naira, 1,000 naira, 5,000 naira. You can go back to your Ecobarter wallet to then transfer that points that you've earned over time to your bank account as cash. You can use it to buy electricity, you can buy data, you can buy airtime, or just whatever you want to do with your money. So that's how it works. It is 100% locally built, and it was built literally from my house. Like, people would say from my garage or my backyard. It was literally built from my compound, my porch. So yes, it's built here, and so we're using a combination of microcontrollers to some sensors and just software and coding language. So it's been locally built here. For payments, right, we have a point system that we designed ourselves, and we built that on existing infrastructures like those of Paystack. So the way we the way we change, our points into cash is working with Paystack. The way we change our points into electricity is working with Buy Power, right? Well, beyond all of those, the infrastructure that powers the machine itself, from collecting the bottles to counting and then to turning them into points, are locally built here. So for us, when we collect the plastic bottles across all of the machines, we take them to our main operations yard where they are compressed. They are further sorted, so we remove the cover, we remove the label, right? They are compressed and then they are transported to manufacturing companies who then make them back into new bottles. I think one of the advantages of the machine is that we collect bottles that are called food grade, because we are collecting directly from the user, so they are not contaminated, they are neat, and they can be made back into new bottles. It's been so amazing, the response. In fact, I think last week, a video that we had posted earlier on came back to my WhatsApp, and it had the forwarded many times notification from WhatsApp. So, I've had people in other states, I've had secondary school mates, in fact, reach out to me to say, oh, this was shared in their estate WhatsApp group. So the welcome has been really loud. And yes, people are using the machine. So we have, because at one of the machines that we have now, the one in Lagos, right, we have an agent there that would literally just tell us every time that, oh, this person had come to check, that person came to drop off their material and things like that. And I think one particular, I wouldn't say that's the only one that has stood up, but one particular one that I want to share was somebody seeing the machine. He literally came to buy fuel, so he didn't even hear about the machine before seeing the machine. So he came to buy fuel, parked his car, and just literally started screaming, "This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about." Like, so apparently he's someone that travels very often, and he had always seen this in Europe. So coming to Nigeria to see this, he was so proud of it. And then he had then brought his material, like his waste, when I say material, plastic bottles and beverage can, after that, to come recycle. So that's the sort of impact we've seen. It's brought pride into just the Nigerian people, because this is made in Nigeria, and it has also just encouraged people of different walks of life and status to recycle, because it's now clear that you can, it's cleaner, it's more rewarding, it's more engaging to recycle with the machine. On the day that we posted this, I think in September, in fact, it got over 1 million views on the social media platform, on Twitter, X, sorry. So every time anybody hears about this or anybody sees it, they are really, really interested in recycling. And that's one thing that we're looking at, especially with the plastic pollution, with all of the conversations happening in Lagos around banning plastics or single-use plastics and stuff. So this machine is so timely, because people are now saying that beyond just using your bottles, taking the water or the drinks and trashing the bottles, there is value for it. And you don't have to, be sorting through your trash. There is a neat way, there is an interesting way for you to actually return this bottle. So definitely positive, impact. The machine is designed for instant reward if you go to the machine with enough waste material. So if you've just taken a bottle and you drop a bottle, of course the reward will not be instant, because you have to accumulate to you have to accumulate to 1 kg, which, like I said again, is just 50 bottles, right? 50 plastic bottles or 50 cl. But if you've accumulated over time in your house and you take it to the machine, once you scan your QR code, you get your point, and you can immediately transfer it to your bank account. So that way, it's instant reward, right? It's designed to be instant. And then the other question is how the realistic value in 6 months. So I have a schoolgirl that started recycling with us in January 2025, and as at today, I think she has about 30,000 naira in her account. And it's not just what is consumed in her house. So one PET bottle that is 50 cl is about 2 naira. Meanwhile, one beverage can is about 7 naira. So that's one, maybe it's Coke, Fanta, Montana, whatever can. It's mostly around 7 naira per can. Meanwhile, the plastic bottle is 2 naira per can, per bottle, based on the weight that we've observed over time. So the value is not something that you build a house on in 1 year, but it's enough to pay your airtime monthly. It's enough to buy you data monthly. or buy emergency electricity units for you. For the longest time, our goal at Ecobarter has been to connect every Nigerian household to sustainable waste management infrastructure. So when we talk about the waste problem, most times people want us to either ban or want us to stop producing plastics, right? But we've found out that plastic is a very cheap alternative for, packaging, for, the things that plastic is used for. Plastic is mostly always the cheapest option. And knowing the economic situation in Nigeria, we don't want to transition into packaging materials that are more expensive and will make the cost of production and cost of even the products go really up. So it's been very clear to us that the way to go is to ensure effective, recovery of these waste materials post-consumption. And so what this machine does is help us to scale recovery. So now with this, if this machine scales to every corner of the country, it means that nobody has any reason again to throw their waste away. And so we would be actively beating plastic pollution that way. And that's the goal for us. And the machine takes us closer to that. Also, definitely more across other Nigerian cities. We currently have 11 of them in Abuja. And so in the next 1 month, we should have up to, I think, 20 in Abuja. Before the year runs out, we would definitely have more in Lagos. We would have in Port Harcourt. We're looking at Benin also. So it's not a pilot for, Lagos alone. This is something that is in full commercial production now, and we are getting it across Nigeria. What we've been doing also is when we deploy the machines to, places that have high footfall, let's say markets or parks, we mostly always have an agent there that would provide support to anybody that wants to use the machine but is unable to use it because of one, challenge or the other. So yes, it's actually very inclusive. So I don't think it can send anyone out of business. What it would even do is create business opportunities for more people. Yes, of course, there is the issue with, the informal waste pickers already go out to, pick these waste materials, or the Kono people that use the bottles for Kono. But in the first place, these bottles are designed for single use. So when you use them for Kono, right, you're actually exposing people to health and environmental hazard, which is something that is frowned or should be frowned upon. And also for the informal waste pickers, the whole idea around them is to find a way to bring them into the formal network. Right, so when we collect, like I said, there are jobs for agents, then there are jobs for people that are going to sort at the factory, there are jobs for people that are going to just work in the manufacturing institution. So I do not think that this is putting people out of jobs actually. The biggest challenge that we've had is getting approvals for locations to put this machine, right? And that's, I would say, it's because of the break in trust, right? So because the machine is built in Nigeria, because it's the first in Nigeria, right? When we go to, let's say we come to you and say, oh, so we built this machine and we want to install it in your facility, there is this mental block already that's like, are you sure this thing even works? So we tend to spend a number of days and weeks trying to convince the people, that the facility managers, that this machine actually works the way we said it would work, right? But it's not such a big challenge, but that's the thing that has slowed us down the most, just getting approval for the locations. And one thing that we've had going for us that has helped us in addressing this is partnerships with relevant government agencies. Thankfully, for the machine, the ATM machine that is in Lagos, and even the ones we have in Abuja, we've deployed them with Abuja, for example. We've been working really closely with the Abuja Environmental Protection Board to deploy these machines, and they've been helping in facilitating approvals. For Lagos, we are working with the NNPC, so we're leveraging on their stations and their network, and so that has helped with the challenge of getting approval. The other challenge is also still, educating and sensitizing people. So many stories, so many experiences of when we go and install these machines, even in places where people are learned, everybody just believes it would not work. But the moment we try it out and we put in 3 bottles and somebody is seeing 10 naira or 20 naira in their wallet, then everybody wants to use it. But that initial break in trust is a challenge that we have. After we launched, because as you already know, doing this, it's first of all an environmental solution before it's an economic one, right? It solves the problem of plastic pollution. So we were lucky enough to get the interest of international organizations like UNIDO, that's like the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, and they brought with them the Ministry of Environment and the Abuja Environmental Protection Board, and they were very instrumental in us, commercializing in Abuja before we started. And then now in Lagos, we got again, after we had launched in Abuja, we got the interest of agencies like the NNPC that are helping us to scale in Lagos by providing their facilities. We have, other interested parties, private sector mostly, and we're looking, to get more partnerships to scale this thing across Nigeria.